So off the rip here, on Monday, University of Michigan President Santa Ono tweeted, I just got a phone with Jim Harbaugh, or Coach Harbaugh, excuse me, and Jim shared with me the great news that he is going to remain as head coach of the Michigan Wolverines. That is fantastic news that I have communicated to our athletic director, Ward Manuel, #GoBlue. Now, for those of you that are living underneath that particular rock, Jim Harbaugh has once again flirted with the idea of once again becoming an NFL head coach. He did this following the 21 season and following the 22 season. And we've kind of gotten used to this. As a matter of fact, up there around Ann Arbor, it's known as Harberry because, January, February is Harberry because you never know what Jim Harbaugh is going to do in the month of January, February. Will he or won't he become an NFL head coach or remain as the head coach for the Michigan Wolverines? And there's lots of speculation as to why. Jim Harbaugh loves the NFL, has always loved the NFL. And when he got his opportunity to coach in the NFL, he's really damn good at it, right? Coach a team to the Super Bowl where he got to play against his brother's team, John Harbaugh's team. And it was great, right? I really enjoyed that 49ers team. And then since going to Michigan, it didn't always go well, all right? So this brings me up to 2020, which is basically the last time we have to talk about Jim Harbaugh's football team not being the best team in the Big Ten. But following the 2020 season, I think it's important to note his contract was restructured. Okay, 2021, his contract was basically cut in half, right? He made $4 million guaranteed money and then $4 million in incentives if he hit benchmark. And some of those benchmarks included things like winning the Big Ten title, something that Michigan had not done since 2004 before they got it done in 21. And this part I got from the AP. I'm going to quote it at length so everybody's on game. Michigan can buy out Harbaugh's contract $4 million if it decides to fire him without cause after the 21 season. And the amount is reduced to $1 million each of the following 3 years. Harbaugh, meanwhile, would owe the university $2 million if he leaves after the 21 season, a figure that is reduced by $500,000 each of the following 3 years. Now, you'll know that coming off of that 2-4 season 2020, they also did not play the game, which is another way of saying the Buckeyes have not beat the Michigan Wolverines since we were in a literal plague. And then you have what was really unprecedented for Michigan and the Wolverines in 21, when not only did they beat Ohio State for the first time in his tenure, but they won the Big Ten title in short succession and made their first trip to the college football playoff. Now, they lose that game to Georgia, but they come back in the 22 season. They have really this man who had been taking NFL interviews on signing day, national signing day, only to find out he didn't get the job and then was going to, go to his plan B, as it turned out to be, Michigan, where he had lost both of his coordinators on the offensive defensive side and really had a QB competition that wasn't actually decided. And we really didn't know what we had in Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards nationally. I'm sure the folks at Michigan knew exactly what they had, and we'll tell you that up front. But they'll also note Aiden Hutchinson's gone, right? David Ajabo's gone, right? You're thinking, or I'm thinking, they're retooling everything, okay? So they go through their non-conference, which was booty, but they go 3-0, and then they start to knock down Big Ten opponents when it really matters. And they win the Big Ten championship again. They beat Ohio State on the road back-to-back years, and they acquit themselves well, right, all up until they got beat by Texas Christian in a college football playoff, where we're still wondering what the hell happened in that game based entirely on Georgia beating the hell out of Texas Christian by the largest margin ever in a bowl game. It is the worst stomping anybody's ever had in a bowl game, period. Not national championship, bowl game. Somehow Michigan lost to that team. Now, I say all that to say, now that we know from the president's mouth that Jim Harbaugh is back, and Jim Harbaugh also went through, the motions of sending another "I'm still committed" tweet, right, referencing the president of the university and not the athletic director of the university. You can imply a lot here, right? This contract that he was on after 21, somebody else would have been like, that's a prove-it contract. Is that really what you want for Michigan, which is a blue blood program and one of the prize programs in college football? Well, if you're Jim Harbaugh, and I like to think that any of us would feel this way if we're at work, if we achieve the benchmarks laid out for us, and not only achieve them, we destroy them 2 times in a row, we would like to be treated like, stars. We would like to be feted. I have brought you fire, right? I mean, you walk into the office naked from the front, okay? And nobody says nothing because you that dude now, right? It's you. And after what they were able to do, especially against Ohio State on the road, yeah, man, you should have been doing everything you can just to back a truck up to that man's house and say, I'm sorry, we doubted you. We should have never doubted you. Please remain as our head coach. And I think President succeeded in getting that message across from Michigan's vaunted alumni and fan base, right? And now that we know that this is done, or we think it's done, right? We think it's done. As done as it can be for Jim Harbaugh, who doesn't have an agent, which makes this all really, really interesting because he's the guy making phone calls. He's the guy looking at your offers and coaching the football team. What does it mean for Michigan? It means that you'll notice that in my top 25, right, my way too early top 25 comes out the day after the national championship game. I got them ranked number 2. I think the worst they're going to be ranked is number 3 when we get to the preseason polls in August, because at this point, doubt Michigan at your own peril. That includes me, right? I learned a hard lesson last year. It don't really matter because the kids will come out there and say, RJ, we've seen what you said, and we're going to give you all of this to chew on, okay? We are going to retool the offensive line, and we're going to have the best offensive line in football again. We got Blake Corum coming back in a year where many of us thought he could be a first-round draft pick, along with Donovan Edwards, who closed out the season damn near putting up 200 yards rushing the game before they got in Texas Christian. Even then, he was able to break off those long runs, right? You have a J.J. McCarthy who is going into what I think is going to be a prime Heisman season for him as an upperclassman. You also are going to keep both sets of coordinators. Nobody got poached this time. Who's going to stop them? Now, Ohio State is going to be there. I think Penn State can be there too, because I think Drew Allar can be for Penn State what J.J. McCarthy was for Michigan. He's that guy that can get them over the top. They got the tailbacks coming back. They know who they are on defense. They're not really going to miss Joey Porter Jr. the way that some might, because they're just that deep at DB. And Manny Diaz has that defense playing well. All to say, right now, the Big Ten belongs to the Maize and Blue until someone else comes through. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.